Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 1145 of Screw the Commute podcast. Today I'm going to talk to you about a gadget that, I don't know, once you use it, you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't be without this. You know that feeling you get if you run out without your cell phone and you're like, oh no, I got to have my cell phone. I think this is going to be close to that if you run out and don't have this little gadget. So we will get to that here in a minute. All right, I hope you didn't miss episode 1144. That was one of my many episodes on phone tips. Their phone's with you 24/7. You may as well learn how to use it. How about that? I even saw they were doing classes in Apple, which I suggested years ago for all the places that they should teach you how to use the darn thing. That's why they call it a smartphone, because it makes you feel so dumb when you can't do anything on it. All right, let's see. Pick up a copy of my automation ebook at screwthecommute.com/automate free. Version 3.0 is still the current one. However, I am 85% or so done with version 4.0. So if you haven't grabbed 3.0, go ahead and grab it at screwthecommute.com/automate free. And then version 4.0 is going to add to it, so you won't lose anything by grabbing the first one and getting started. All right, let's get into today's episode. What I'm going to talk about today is called a stylus. And if you have fat fingers, if you have long fingernails, if you need to do some precise work, like move the cursor a certain place when you're trying to type a darn note to somebody, or maybe you do some video editing and CapCut on your phone, this is the episode for you. So what is a stylus? Well, it's a little pen-like thing, and it kind of looks like a pen, and some of them actually have a pen in them, but that's not the one I use. And it helps you work on cell phones and tablets. And I'm telling you, once you try this once, you'll really hate being without it. I keep them in my pocket. I keep them in my car, at my desk, anywhere I might need to grab one. Now, I have a picture in the show notes of 3 different ones. The white one on top, if you go to the show notes for episode 1145, so screwthecommute.com/1145, that's what this is. The top one in the picture is a white one that's more fancy that I'm going to tell you about. And then the middle 2, the purple one, is a stylus on one end and a pen, actual writing pen on the other. And the green one is a stylus on both ends, but one end is more precise and one end is fatter. So I'll get into that here now. So the purple one and the green one are really cheap. They're like 3 for $10. And they have rubber tips on the ends where you can touch the screen with them and move stuff around and type and all kinds of stuff that you would do with your finger. Drag things different places, all that stuff. So the pros of these ones are that they're very cheap. The cons is they're not as precise, but certainly they're so cheap, I like to have them laying around all the time in case I don't have my fancier one with me. All you have to do is just type in tablet stylus. I think it's STYLUS into Amazon. And like I said, they're everywhere. And the cheaper ones do come with several different tips in case you wear out the rubber. Okay. So the next one, and the one that I love the most, is about $15, but they can go up to, I think, over 100 if you get the super fancy ones that'll do all kinds of stuff, including doing your dishes, I guess. I don't know. But this would be called a high sensitivity active stylus. High sensitivity active stylus. And they're usually either battery operated or an internal rechargeable battery. And that's the one I have. It was made by Kecow, Kecow. I don't think it matters much. It was about $15, and it is really precise. The tip on it is just, like a pen tip, and you hold it to your screen, and you do all the stuff you need to do. And I got to tell you, when I try to do some video editing, moving stuff and precisely picking stuff, and even just writing an email or a text, the darn cursor, when I want to move it, and let's say I even did a voice text, let's say, but then I noticed that something's wrong, that it didn't hear me correctly, and it sounds stupid. So I go with my finger to try to move the cursor, and it's just, you got to do it 8 times to get it where you want it. Where this stylus, I can just put it exactly, precisely where I want it, and don't waste any time with this. And I don't have to hit my fat fingers. I can have gloves on. Even the gloves that have the tips that'll work on cell phones are not precise at all. So if it's cold out, all right, or rainy or whatever. So these are really great. Now the term high sensitivity kind of tells you what the stylus is about. And high sensitivity active stylus, got a battery in it. But just because it says high sensitivity doesn't mean it's the super high premium type stylus. It just means that it's going to be more precise than the other ones. Okay. And some of them, like I say, can go up to very expensive, and they only work with certain tablets and so forth. So you got to watch. But I'm telling you, this $15 one is just freaking awesome. And the battery lasts for 10 hours or something on a 1-hour charge. When you're really into this, I remember Nick that used to work here was very, very great in graphics, and he used, even on his PC, he had a tablet sitting there, which he would use a pen to write with. That was a long time ago, but still, I'm sure some of you out there do that. But some of the more expensive styluses are I'll give you a list of some of the features that they might have that this $15 one doesn't have. One is called pressure sensitivity, which means the harder you push on it, the thicker the line is if you're drawing something or signing your name or something. Another one is palm, PALM, rejection. That means that if your palm is touching the tablet could think that it's a stylus and start screwing everything up. But palm rejection means that if you're touching your tablet, then it doesn't register. It's only going to register on the stylus that you're using. I don't know how that works, but that's the deal. Another one has tilt support. And like I said, I don't use any of this super fancy stuff, but I believe that means that depending on the angle that you put the stylus, it changes what comes out on the screen. And then the other one is low latency, which I believe means that there's not a big delay. And I got to tell you, there's zero delay in this little $15 cheap one when I'm doing everything that I need to do, which is video editing, writing stuff, or fixing stuff, really, because most of the stuff I write, since I'm alone, I can just talk and then edit it. But the editing is now infinitely faster because I can precisely move the cursor. And that's the big deal here. So very, like I said, I love things that just make work easier. And this is one of them. So just go to Amazon and type in iPad stylus or tablet stylus, and there'll just be loads of them there. But I've bought these lots of times, and I never kept track of the brand, and they all seem to do about the same. The rubber ones are a little more hassle, but super cheap. But the ones with the batteries, wow, really great. All right, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. If you'd like help with this and a million other things necessary to be successful online, check out my mentor program, greatinternetmarketingtraining.com. It's the longest running, most successful, most unique ever in the field of internet and digital marketing. And my school, imtcva.org, certified to operate by SCHEV, the State Council on Higher Education in Virginia, but you don't have to be in Virginia because it's quality distance learning and it'll probably save you a couple $100,000 wasting your time at a 4-year college. All right, we will catch you on the next episode. See you later.